Someone who'll see you right. So here's a few reasons to put Omega Rental Cars top of your list. Do we have a modern fleet, all fully checked and ready to roll?
Yes, we do.
Do we offer keen prices, unlimited Ks, and free additional drivers?
Yes, you do.
And do we support New Zealand motorsport because we love cars? And maybe to look a bit flash.
Yes, you do.
There you go. Omega Rental Cars, your upfront and honest car rental company.
And good afternoon, welcome to live coverage of the Brian Green Property Group New Zealand Rally Championship. This is round 3 of our 6-round championship. Lone Star Rally of Canterbury in association with Joe's Garage. And we are at the penultimate stage, and what an epic piece of road this is. Mount Grey Road, iconic, one of the most famous stages in New Zealand rallying. Tail Bunch joined by Blair Bartels, the voice of rallying. BB, we drove through the first 8Ks of the stage to our vantage point here. What a phenomenal piece of road. And just talk us through this little section that we're going to see on the live stream, because it is magic.
Absolutely. The Omega rental car was down the middle of the road, 50, 60 kilometres an hour, and what a glorious drive it was, taking in the breathtaking scenery of the
Okay, calm down, Pinocchio. Tell us the real story about this road.
We've got a fantastic spot here for the live stream. If we get old Lieutenant Dan to point out as they approach, come into view around the tree line, down to our first camera point.
Pretty hard for us to actually see here. The sun's like beaming right into our eyes, so
yes,
we'll do our best to pick up what's on the screen in front of us. But stunning piece of road.
Just check
fast.
out the Ashley Forest there.
The undulation too, BB, the camber on the road.
The camber on the road, the cresty nature, it's a very, very fast-flowing bit of road. So where we are, they'll approach us. They'll be 4th, 5th gear down the hill, up over a bit of a crest, potentially...
Airborne on that shot, you can see just there between the two Brian Green Property Group signs.
Possibly a little bit of air, and then it'll be hard. So this is approaching the prior shot. Down through the dip, then up towards that crest. Go back to the previous camera, Dan.
That shot actually doesn't do it justice. There is quite a lot of undulation there. There's quite the dip up to that.
And then around, so hard on the brakes, around what's probably a 4 right, but a lot of camber in there, so you're probably talking 3rd gear. And then hard on the power as they go away and up over the crest. Neither of us were game enough to walk down and tell you what's on the other side of that crest.
I can tell you that Ben Hunt is at time control at Special Stage 8. So the overall scenario in this rally, BB, as we get down to the last 2 stages, including one blast around Ruapuna where there won't be a whole lot of time to make up. Robbie Stokes on the cusp of a breakthrough NZRC win. I know there's still a fair bit of rallying to go, but he has a 14.2 second lead over the reigning national champion, the current championship leader in 2025, Ben Hunt. 14.2 seconds, is that enough over the final 2 stages? And I guess we need to factor out that somewhere to the left of where we're positioned is the Robbie Stokes farm, and they look up to this piece of road. He knows this piece of road like the back of his hand, doesn't he?
It's probably actually more behind us, Dale.
Oh, don't start with that again. You were hopeless. You thought Christchurch was over on the west coast somewhere a minute ago. So.
Yeah, it's a great place. It's right near Dunsandel, which is actually accurate, but neither of them are on the west coast. I think this is a bit of road that Robbie knows very, very well. Ben hasn't been down here since 2019. We saw this morning Robbie made that break. And to be fair, that's been his advantage all day. It's a little bit like the battle we saw with Robbie and Jack Hawkswood at Otago last year. In that instance, Jack took the early momentum, and then they swapped time. That's been going on all day, and it's really that advantage that Robbie took early on, seized the opportunity, and you'd have to think that he is up there as the favourites to use that advantage through the final run back down the hill. So this is the opposite direction to the way they ran the stage this morning, and this is also for those that are joining us from outside, I guess the Canterbury region. The iconic Ashley Forest Rally Sprint is where we finish. The last piece of this stage is the first uphill leg of the Ashley Forest Rally Sprint, correct? Yeah, correct. So it finishes at the famous Nota's Corner. That's the flying finish of this stage. So that's further down the road. So we're just over halfway through the stage. We're about 8 k's in. It's 13.83 kilometres. So yeah, a couple of minutes down the road, because it gets pretty hectic and pretty fast from here by all accounts. And this is Seaview Road Junction for those of you who are familiar with the forest. And of course, a great opportunity there to thank Brian Green Property Group, MRF Tyres, Omega Rental Cars, Cream Insurance, also Elevate Digital Assist have been doing a fantastic job keeping the socials ticking over and looking fantastic and interacting with everyone.
It won't be too far away now before we see the first car. It'll be Ben Hunt, the
should be just
current championship leader.
Now.
Yeah, he was at time control a couple of minutes ago. The stage was 2:30, was it not?
2:33.
2:33, so he's probably right at the start line now. So we've got a couple of minutes, probably 4 or 5 minutes before he would make his way through these 8Ks to this vantage point. Just describe the road, I guess, what we saw as we were driving in through the first 8Ks, very, very fast for a forestry stage, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. So about as good as a forestry road gets, really. Good, solid base. A lot of logging that's gone on through here of late. And it's just got a lovely flow to it. There's not really a whole heap that is what you'd call a nasty trap. There's one there, but that's fairly well signposted. The famous Haggerty Hole.
So 2 cars into the stage is what I'm told. Robbie Stokes is now into the stage as well, so it won't be long before we see the Skoda New Zealand Fabia Rally 2 car. What about the pressure, I guess, here? Ben's been here and done it before. He's got rally wins under his belt. He's been doing this a long, long time. He's won championships. Robbie's been on the cusp. We know that there was a lot of pressure on him from a young age because he made such a splash when he started out and turned heads, and so there's been a lot of expectation with Robbie. I think that probably be fair to say it got to him a little bit over the last couple of years. He seems a lot happier, a lot more comfortable in his own skin over the last 12 months, but he's on the verge of what would a breakthrough win that would mean the world to him. How much pressure would he be feeling at the moment? Can Ben use that to his advantage?
Well, I think if you're Robbie, you look at this morning, you look at that advantage that he was able to take through Mount Grey Road, and that's the bit that he's got to run with. So if he can go in here with that mindset that he knows he's just got to do what he did this morning, he knows he can do it, and if he can come out of here, even if they're equal on time or he's dropped a couple of seconds, there's
enough time to play with when you get to Ruapuna, because unless you make a mistake, you're not going to be coughing up that much time.
Yes, it's still 13 kilometres around Ruapuna, so it's not, there is absolutely...
So we're hearing that we're not too far away. You can probably just about see it on the screen there, some dust by the drone.
And yes, there he comes into our shot.
This is Ben Hunt, the penultimate stage of Lone Star Rally Canterbury in association with Joe's Garage. Great to have them on board. We head back to Lone Star Manchester Street if you're in the Christchurch region and want to come along and see the finish. Great place to see the cars up close. And one of these two drivers, you'd think, spray some champagne in an hour or two's time. So here is Ben. Identical Skoda Fabia Rally 2 cars. Massive speed. Wow, look at that.
Beautifully done by Ben and Tony.
Wow.
That's it's just a graphic example of how much speed these rally cars can wash off quickly. It's very, very cool.
Yeah, that's... Shots almost don't do it justice. Not the Volt TV crew do anything wrong. Spectacular view, spectacular shots, but there's quite a bit of undulation in that spot by the MRF signs up to the Brian Green Property Group signs. Boy, there's some dust around too. That's a factor too for Robbie to deal with. So bright sunshine. Admittedly, the sun will be behind the cars.
Drivers, yes,
and here is Robbie.
So he's hauling. He is absolutely hauling.
Stokes Motorsport Skoda Fabia Rally 2, identical car to what Ben Hunt has.
And he was a lot quicker over the crease than Ben Hunt, a lot later on the brakes, carrying more speed. So Robbie, he is absolutely on it here. He knows that there is a rally win to grab.
Yeah, he's got 2 or 3 more minutes probably to get down to the end of the stage, and then a tarmac blast around Ruapuna. He could be that close. It's within touching distance. The cool thing of this is he looks out his family house, the windows of his family house, and he looks up to this piece of road. She'll be a big night back in Christchurch, back at
the Lone Star,
Waikuku too.
Yes,
if Robbie's to pull this off. And the other thing is they've got a second car sitting on a podium spot as well at the moment, Jack Stokes in the Stokes Motorsport Ford Fiesta AP4 car. So this should be Jack Hawkswood, should it not? Jack's been battling this afternoon.
Yeah, got stuck in first gear.
Here he is. I understand they fixed the car on the roadside, so the Force Motorsport, big time sideways.
Yes, absolutely trying to make it all up, isn't he?
Never lacks commitment, Jack Hawkswood.
No.
Been a frustrating year for Jack. Speed is there, but just little gremlins. Had the major engine blow up at Timaru late in that rally when he had a pretty much guaranteed podium spot in the bag. And it's been one thing after another today too. But certainly on the charge here at Mount Grey Road.
Yes, he's dropped back to 8th overall in the rally and 5th amongst the Cat 1 runners. As we wait to see Jack Stokes. So a bit of bush mechanicism, I guess, which is a big part of...
There's Jack. So this is the Stokes Motorsport Ford Fiesta AP4 car. His brother. Again, massive sideways.
He's throwing that car around. Very, very impressive over the crest. He's carrying some good speed. You can see just how much... You probably can't quite pick up on the camera how much camber there is in that junction, but it's almost like a speedway track, isn't it? Like NASCAR stuff.
Yep. Not quite a low line and a high line, I don't think, though, BB.
Well, I'll run the low line, you can give the high line a crack. See how you go.
Might be the fast way back to the Stokes farm.
Yeah. Hold on, I know a shortcut.
Look, we can't put the cart before the horse just yet, but, what that team has been through over the last few years, a lot of disappointment, a lot of frustration with things not quite going to plan, the mechanical dramas they've had, Robbie's had the odd mistake, and I think all of that reward, is sitting there just within touching distance. It's Josh Marston. He's certainly not holding back either.
No, he's got a point to prove. Unfortunately, a sensor issue. By the sound of it, of course, the cars are stalled and wouldn't start, and he lost some 4 minutes, so it's been a disappointing day. If we look at the split times, Stokes at 8.4 kilometres, so just past us, 2.4 seconds up on Ben Hunt.
Wow.
Just waiting on those times to come through.
So that's a statement already from Robbie.
Yep, Jack Hawkswood just 0.2 of a second off Ben Hunt to that point, and Jack Stokes 2.8 seconds back.
So Josh Marston will still salvage a reasonable haul of points here, won't he, BB? If he can get to the end, I think he got a couple of power stage points from memory.
So, yeah, 4th, so 2 power stage points, and coming into the stage, he was...
So Hayden McKenzie comes into shot now.
Yeah, so he's had a quiet day under the radar, up to 4th now. And that'll give him a lot of confidence. Very, very tidy through there. And now up towards the crest.
It's the Albany Toyota Yaris, AP4 Yaris.
Although, maybe not the a standout performance, but a huge confidence-building day for Hayden.
Yeah, like you got to remember too, like his experience on gravel was not anywhere near the level of what most of these other rivals have got in their back pocket to call upon. Like, he's still learning the sport, and he's had so many frustrations with that car mechanically, and it's sort of impeding not only the development of the car, but development of his driving as well. So, yeah, really good to see him on for a good result. And if something was to happen with one of the top three while they're battling out the placings here, there's an opportunity for him to steal a sneaky podium spot.
Well, he'll be as confident as anyone going to Ruapuna. There's no doubt about that. So just looking at it, Josh back up inside the top 10, sitting fourth. Sitting ninth outright, sixth in Category 1. So eighth in terms of point scoring.
Caleb McDonald's, leader of our Rally Challenge 4-wheel drive class. Looking for a third straight win in that class too to really take the initiative. Had a good start to the year last year, but then had a horror run on the North Island, really just couldn't buy a trick.
And a top 5 finish is on the cards for Caleb too.
That's awesome, isn't it?
In terms of championship-wise.
Right. Now, I have a time for Ben Hunt and I have a time for Jack Hawkswood.
I've got a time for Robbie Stokes.
Hawks was 0.6 of a second behind Hunt.
3.2 seconds faster, Robbie Stokes.
So Robbie Stokes extends that lead.
Up on the screen as well.
There we go, beautiful. He will have a lead of 17.4 seconds heading into the final blast around Ruapuna Raceway. And Robbie Stokes, barring a mistake or some kind of heartbreaking drama, has got one hand on a maiden NZRC round win. Mike Tall, is it?
It might be.
It's hard to see in the sunlight.
Yes, it is.
Mike Tall.
Mike Tall. So he's about to pop into view. And Sarah Faulkner.
Ageless Sarah Faulkner.
After speaking to her at the service park, there are no comments around people's ages.
She's not happy with you.
It's only ever the depth that varies, Dale Butch.
That's true.
So just waiting on a time for Jack Stokes. And Josh Marston actually up on Ben Hunt at the second, split by 0.4 of a second. He's only 30 seconds behind Dean Buist, and while that doesn't seem like a lot, it's another position. Yeah, Dean scoring points in the outright championship. Remember, Dean's actually fourth in the outright championship at the moment, as we see Johnny Bretzel, Dean Johnston.
Good drive from Jonty today too, welcoming him back in that car for the first time in over 2 years.
Yeah, great to see him back out there and touch wood, a successful day to date.
Yeah, we spoke to him last night at the ceremonial opening and just wanted to get to the end. Didn't want to try and put down any heroics and do anything silly and then biff the thing off the road. Just wanted to get to the end of the rally, and it looks like he's done a pretty good job of adhering to that. Only
7.6 seconds behind Caleb McDonald as well, so it's pretty.
Jack Stokes through with a time of 7:45.4. That's 9.9 seconds behind his brother, 6.1 behind Hawkswood for fourth.
Yes, so he will go to that final stage.
So we see Ari Pettigrew, who's had an outstanding drive again this afternoon. Young Ari Pettigrew,
first of the all-comers, fourth overall. Fantastic driver. And we know he's got so much talent. Great to see him having the opportunity of getting back in a four-wheel drive car and showing everyone that he has lost none of his ability.
So Josh Marston through now. That time confirmed, third quickest, just 0.2 of a second behind Ben Hunt, 3.4 seconds behind Robbie Stokes.
So we will see what sort of time Dean Buist can pull out. Of course, Dean will have seen trees grow up here, the trees that have been felled recently. He will have seen those grow up as infants and probably knew their grandparents as well.
You're saying this, not me. You're just asking for a hiding tonight at the post-event celebrations. Is anyone else you want to have a look at with about age?
Well, look, I am very much looking forward to your 60th birthday party next week, Dale. Must be said.
Everyone's a comedian.
Speaking of Dean Buist, that unmistakable BDA note firing through the forest. Wow, look at that. He is flying.
He's on for what would be a third straight class win in 2025 as well.
In the historic class.
Victories at both Otago and South Canterbury. I think he's probably been down this road a few times over the years, hasn't he?
That was what I was inferring, yes. Yeah. Don't know why you thought I was saying he was old.
You're talking about meeting grandparents of trees. So we've lost a few of the competitors around this sort of
we have been a bit of attrition.
Marcus Van Klink, Sean Haggerty, Dylan Thompson. As we see, I think that'll be
Timmy Smith.
Tim Smith, is it?
It's got that 8.6 sound about it.
Mm-hmm.
And solid day from Timmy.
Again, boy, he's showing his class in this field too.
9th overall, first of the 8.6s. He's got about 30 seconds over Josh Keeley. And absolutely no lack of commitment up over the crest there from Timmy. So great to see him back and of course leading that H6 Cup as well. So he works
we should see a couple more of the H6s in the next minute or two. Josh Keeley should be next. Second overall in the Rally Challenge four-wheel drive class in the championship and leading competitor in the Group A Challenge.
Yes, we should have a couple more H6s. Then we're into that Fiesta battle, and after Special Stage 7, Budgie.
Yeah, that was a tight battle too, wasn't it? Here is Josh Keeley.
Another fantastic drive from Josh. You know, he's just...
Yeah, it's 3 in a row.
So between Bryn Jones leading NZRC two-wheel drive class and Tim Mackesy, 11.3 seconds.
That lead has swapped back and forth a couple of times through the day too.
Yes.
It was Bryn early, Tim came back at him, and now Bryn again.
Unfortunately, we lost Fuyuhiko Takahashi. Ended up off the road. So just the two running. The open two-wheel drive class has been a war of attrition too. We lost Dave Strong in the very first stage with an engine failure, and then Dylan Thompson with a very rare mistake. And saw him upside down and back on his wheels again, and managed to scratch the paint on the roof of the little Fiesta.
This should be Jeff Judd now, speaking of experienced men in H6 cars.
Yeah, Jeff and Lisa Hudson. So three Hudsons, I believe, still going.
Yeah, Rocky dipped out on the Hudson Cup this weekend, unfortunately.
Yeah, blown head gasket for Darren Galbraith. That saw him on the trailer early. Quite a nice trailer it was too, as we see Juddy, another man that's been up and down this bit of road just a couple of times.
Lisa might have done it once or twice as well.
What are you trying to say about Lisa?
Nothing. She's done this road a few times. It's all about how you frame it, PB.
Speaking of framing it, look at Joe's work there. Beautiful.
Yeah, gotta love the Volt TV drone. Big thanks to Volt TV crew giving us these stunning pictures. It's hard to see in the haze, but that previous shot you can see out all over the Canterbury Plains. Christchurch in the background, which we found out after having to refer to a map because someone didn't know which direction Christchurch was in it.
I told you, it's over there.
Yeah, that's the West Coast, mate.
So this is Bryn Jones and Sean Lockyer. Bryn, looks like he is well on a charge. Oh, absolutely flat up over that crest.
He's certainly not trying to protect the lead, is he?
No, he's not resting on his laurels.
Forward.
And he will be absolutely loving this down the hill. More passionate rallying man you will not find.
And he's on the way to a third straight class win as well if he can hang on to this lead.
Great little cars. The Rally 4 Fiestas teach us so much about carrying corner speed and momentum.
We'll see Tim Mackesy very shortly. Identical car.
It's a great thing about them. They're all prepared in the same, or built in the same workshop, prepared by their own individual outfits here. But yeah, really are comparing apples with apples. So just looking at historic results after Special Stage 7.
Tim McIver was having a great debut in this class.
So he's second behind Dean Buist, and Steve Gill 39.7 seconds back coming into this stage. So.
It's a bit of a gap here, I reckon.
Yes.
So this could be a problem, Tim Mackesy. I don't know if Chris Sport are following the live stream, but any update would be greatly appreciated. Definitely more than a minute gap here. So hopefully no drama here for Tim. Throw in an extra minute gap by for any reason, would they?
Well, you never know. He might have been late to the stage or something like that. But this is certainly more than a minute gap as we see a replay of Ben Hunt. Just look at the commitment up over the crest. Probably, in hindsight, scrubbed off a little bit too much speed. Not that I can say that I would have done it any better myself. So
here we go, next car. Is that Tim Mackesy?
No, that is Brian Green.
That is Greenie.
So, drama unfolding on the live stream.
So, no sign of Tim Mackesy.
Hasn't Greenie had a great day? Third in the Rally Challenge four-wheel drive class. So
here's Tim Mackesy now. So, let's see, two cars in close succession.
And he's not
at speed, no.
He's not at speed, no.
No, that's a shame. Tim just needs to nurse the car home, being second place here, make sure he comes away with points.
Get a shot in. Yeah, if he can get through this one and the next one, he will still...
Even if he just tours around, I mean, the time's irrelevant now. Like, he's not going to be able to overhaul Bryn, so...
Second place finish will still
just
bring...
get to the end, you're going to get the same number of points whether you do it in a canter or whether you...
Yeah, unfortunately the battle is now gone, but what a disappointing finish. And now who we got behind?
They'll be catching him too. So that should be Deb Kibble, I think.
Deb Kibble and Heather Barton.
That's
only all-female crew in the rally, I think. Off the top of my head.
Oh, it's Daff and...
Daff and Terry Taylor as well.
Terry Taylor, yeah. There is... lovely shot above from Deb Kibble, of Deb Kibble, I should say.
Jeez, you're a brave man. So just had a message from Andrew Graves. He clearly knew where we were because he said, "How was that, big boy?"
Well, he could have given us a toot. Someone gave us a toot earlier in the day.
Yeah, that was Ali Mackay.
Ali Mackay, I think, yeah.
Ali and Miko.
In fact, that might be the next car we're about to see, to be honest. So it is Ali Mackay, just coming into shot now.
Oh, that's soundtrack, Budgie. That's soundtrack.
He gives it everything, doesn't he, Ali Mackay?
He presses on pretty hard. It's great to see a Mark 1. You don't see a heap of Mark 1s out there now. Mark 2's more the weapon of choice, but great to see the Mark 1 out there, and as you say, Ellie gives it the beans.
He's working a bit hard to give us the toot that time round.
So we are waiting on updates as to what's happened with Thomas Paul.
That was on the previous stage. I understand, definitely stopped.
Yeah, gearbox issue is what's being reported, so that would be day over. It's a real shame because he and Ian Warren were having a huge battle. And if we run the numbers on that
will make that class rather interesting heading north.
Yeah, there was only 10.9 seconds between the two cars after Special Stage 6, so it's disappointing for Thomas and Bridget, but they've got two solid finishes under their belt, and
so it should be Andrew Sim.
Yep,
Dave Neal.
Yep, and hear the difference in the gear shift there with the sequential and the flat shift. Another one that's probably done a couple of passes at Mount Grey Road, as is Duda.
Imagine what is going through Robbie Stokes' mind now, making his way to Ruapuna.
Yes.
Driving past the road. Is it the road that he lives on?
Yep, 17.4 seconds that lead. he will know that he just needs to be clean around the racetrack. And
no mistakes, and he's got a breakthrough win. So this should be Tim McIver. He's had a really, really good day in the historic two-wheel drive class.
Oh, look at that, beautifully tipped in. And so we're just hearing to end. Warren is battling his own, and she's just got a leaking water pump. So I'd say he'll be back in the pace and the revs right off.
Well, no need to push hard, and you've got no one else left to fight against. Just going to make sure you get that car home.
It's easier said than done, though, Budgie. We've driven down this road now, and the self-control that I displayed to not drive fast was incredible, in my own humble opinion. Wasn't going as quick as Tim was.
Self-control. I don't think you know what the meaning of the word is. So, no Dave Strong. He would have been next. Chris Ramsey.
So we're currently running
Corolla.
third in the Hudson Cup with Amy on board. And after a DNF at Timaru, he'll be keen to get through this one and the next one and put a finish on the board. Wonder if he had the cool suit down today. It's actually been quite a pleasant temperature, to be fair, isn't it? First day of winter.
Yeah, to be honest, yeah. Sort of think about rugging up here and bringing on the winter gears, but not too bad at all.
To be fair, Budgie, first day of winter, I tell you what, it's going to take some topping, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been a stunning day. Beautiful panoramic view here. We're looking out over the Canterbury Plains to the south and east. Blair? South and east.
And there's also north and west in there too.
No, the north and west is back in the forestry. Over the hills to the west coast.
But if you look over the top of the trees, there's a panorama there.
It's a long way around to Christchurch if you go that way. Oh, dear.
The day I take navigational advice from you, Dale Punch.
Geography's one of the only strings to my bow. I don't have much. I haven't got much to play with.
We see Stephen Gill, Grant Malloy.
There'll be another good points finish for Gilly as well.
Yes.
Just going to help in that battle.
Took 2 seconds in the third today.
It's been a fierce battle, but he's the one that's banked the points every event.
Yeah.
So Andy Martin's had all sorts of frustrations. And
unfortunately for Andy, they've continued again today, all of about 400 metres into the first stage.
So hearing that Tim Mackesy may not have got to the end of the stage, she's got to the 14k mark. Hopefully he can get to the end.
Has completed now.
He's completed now, that's
dropped
great.
3 minutes 39.62 to Robbie Stokes. So the thick end of 3 minutes that he's lost to Bryn Jones. But as we said, sort of not a whole heap to lose as much as, he's out of that battle, but he'll still be on for second place as we see Ray Wilson. Always so neat and tidy, Ray, isn't he? Just carries so much speed. He's although he's not a local lad down here, I tell you what, he will have done a couple of laps of this forest too.
I think so. So this would be the battle we were supposed to have at the beginning of the day. Darren Galbraith, Thomas Paul, Ian Warren in succession. We know we're not going to see Darren Galbraith. We know we're not going to see Thomas Paul right now.
Are we going to see
Ian Warren? I don't think we're going to see Thomas. He won't recover from that, will he? That'll be game over.
No, unfortunately, a broken gearbox. That'll be that. So, Mackesy came out just in front of Ali Mackay, so a little bit of catching and passing.
So this should be Ian Warren.
It looks like the little pulsar.
Yeah.
Well, he hasn't backed off too much, Budgie.
Right. So he's on a charge, to be fair. Someone told him the other two are out. Cool battle in that championship this year.
It has been fantastic, hasn't it?
Need to convince Dazza to bring his car north.
Yeah, maybe Charlie Evans could pull the RX-7 back out the shed. Saw him second at Otago. And who knows which two-wheel drive cars will come out of the woodwork when we head north as well. Of course, 3 rounds still to run. Dale ITM, Gold Rush Rally Coromandel, the Battertown Rally Bay of Plenty. And insert sponsor here, call us if you've got some money. International Rally of Whangarau.
So it should be Richie Chadwick and Toyota Corolla.
Yeah,
Rachel Chadwick alongside.
What a hard charger Richie is. So a little bit limited by a top speed of about 174 kilometres an hour, he was saying, but currently just in between Chris Ramsey and Ali Mackay, leading the 1600 class. Well, actually, Ian Warren, who's in the championship class, Rally Challenge two-wheel drive, would be in that class otherwise, and there's a whole 9.6 seconds between them after the day. I mean, those guys from the bottom of the south, Thomas Paul, Ian Warren, Richie Chadwick, they have some fantastic battles. Ultra competitive.
So we should see the RX-7 of Ben and Charlotte Harding.
Father-daughter combination. It might be, I think, our sole surviving rotary of the event.
I think it would be, yeah.
Beautifully presented car, that.
Hear that Kevin Laird's watching the live stream. Give a shout out to Kevin. Hope you're feeling better, mate. Had a great start to the year. First two rounds in Otago and South Canterbury, and unfortunately had to withdraw this week due to illness. So hopefully you're on the mend, and we'll see you when we return in a couple of months' time at Coromandel. And really looking forward to getting back to Coromandel. So 2 rounds in a row where we haven't been since 2019. And great to see him there, back on the calendar.
Yeah, absolutely great to have a couple of events back in.
So it should be Roger Mackay, Dean McCrosty in the Ford Escort next.
Just hearing from Kieran Ensters too that they, I won't quite use the exact report, but they felt they didn't quite get this particular section right on the live stream with Hayden McKenzie.
I think Hayden will be pretty satisfied if he can get through the day and finish in 4th place or better.
Yes,
and bank a whole lot of that mileage.
Well, and especially going into that, to change the whole mindset going into that mid-season break. If you had 3 consecutive DNFs, it would really upset your rhythm. As we see, he's even got the window down. I thought he would have given us away.
Pretty hard at work, I think.
I suspect so. It's great to see Roger out.
Has he given us grief about not using the sponsor name? We just did.
Well, I'm sure I did.
You did, no question. Simon Bell watching on the live stream too. Stop being grumpy. Got his feet up. Probably fishing off the deck, is he?
Might be having a mojito there. Yeah. As we see Richard Kelly, Claire Buccini. Bit of a slide on there.
Just working the beamer.
Does have a beautiful note to it, that car, doesn't it?
That's what it does.
There you go, see Chris Grant sticking up for me.
Thanks. You always do the sponsor mention the first time round, and generally not after that.
Speaking of sponsors, what about Brian Green Property Group, MRF Tyres, Omega Rental Cars, Cream Insurance? Fantastic sponsors that they are. And of course, we couldn't be doing it all. Without the help of Elevate Digital Assist either. The fantastic work that they do, and if you need any work done, get in touch with Anita and the team at Elevate. They do some fantastic work. They can even make us look good, and that's some serious.
Really saying something, yeah.
That's a serious task.
So, Amy Keeley, the H6 Subarus,
and another one where a good solid finish here will mean the world to Amy, and just put a bit of confidence back in, a bit of a spring back in the step. She's done a great job.
Yeah, the speed's definitely improving all the time. You can see her getting a lot more competitive. Just worried that one of those, that accident she had at Timaru just knocked the confidence, but doesn't appear to have done so, and she's on for a good result here. Good day for the Keeley siblings as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Josh is just going from strength to strength, isn't he?
You got to take the good days with open arms, don't you? Because it can be such a cruel sport.
So we're just hearing that Marcus van Klink is
going through the KFC drive-through at Rangiora, I believe.
Yes.
Can you just text him back, tell him over Tower Burger combo? Chuck a couple of bits of chicken in there too, would you?
Dale Budge calls that afternoon tea.
It is, that's afternoon tea. As we see Steve Cox in the Audi Quattro. This will sound cool coming through here.
See how well the wings work up over the crest. Yeah, fairly well planted to the ground.
Don't think Thomas Paul will be going anywhere.
No.
I think he's pretty well stuck in the previous stage.
That is a real shame.
Yep, Doug Ednett will be next. Tom Hood and another of the H6 Imprezas.
Yes, our man on the spot, Jeff Ritter. So here, Doug Ednett now, another of the H6s. I think this will be the first of many South Island rallies for Doug, as we said earlier. Long time Northland man, made the move to the South Island last year, and so his new home rally, the Lone Star Rally Canterbury. Dale's busy trying to read some results and doesn't do multitasking well.
Just Cross it will be. Paul Cross next.
Just looking at some of these results, Josh Keeley just sneaking in front of Mike Tall in that stage to be in the top 10 outright.
Wow.
Second in the Rally Challenge four-wheel drive and first in the Group A Challenge. Put that in perspective, Michael Tall won this rally last year.
Yeah, it's a pretty reasonable effort from Josh, who's having a heck of a season.
We see Crossy now and Janie Blair.
Sole surviving entrant in the open two-wheel drive.
Yeah, it's been a day of attrition in that class, hasn't it?
I don't know, off the top of your head, what would that do points-wise? That'll elevate him ahead of Dave Strong, won't it?
No, because Paul didn't finish
he didn't too. Sorry, yes, you're right.
He made the mistake there.
It'll make that battle quite tight, though.
I definitely will, because both drivers have now used their drop around. So the in the NZRC four-wheel drive, all 6 rounds count. NZRC two-wheel drive, open two-wheel drive and historic classes is best 4 of the first 5 rounds plus the final. And then the Rally Challenge classes, four-wheel drive, two-wheel drive and the Group A Challenge is the best 3 of the first 5 plus the final round. So, there's a little bit more, few more bits of maths to be done before the end of the year. But most drivers will be quite relieved that they've got that facility.
Lights on for Hayden Shakespeare, Joshua Henderson in the Evo 3 Mitsubishi.
Great to see. We saw Gary Cliff earlier on in an Evo 3 as the Zero car. He was hiding behind the graphics as we were preparing our speech, Dale Budge, to address the nation.
I'm sure there was much preparation, to be fair. I heard the Lieutenant Dan say, "Go, you're on," and we started talking. Right, Carl Celeste, Jeremy Evans next up in the Toyota Corolla. So Carl Celeste we normally see sitting alongside Dean Buist. He's jumped into the driver's seat.
And see, what that could do is open up although you suspect Dean Buist is very much making himself the favourite for the historic championship, with Carl dropping another round, means either Dean's got to do all 6 or Carl has to that historic championship very much opens up for the likes of Grant Malloy.
Yeah, co-driver situation, absolutely.
So Carl makes his way safely past us. In fact, I believe it was this road last year that brought him undone. So a little bit of a score to settle. Sorry to keep you up, mate.
That's all right. Nice and early to bed last night.
And the night before.
Yeah, it's extremely well behaved.
Most.
Tea and ginger nuts, game of 5 crowns, happy days.
Let's not talk about the results of 5 crowns.
Oh, it was well worth talking about. You got royally spanked.
Yeah, I'm just going to park that.
Jared Parker, Cole Shears.
Speaking of parking that.
Rain's not quite full strength at the moment to play on that. Jared Parker, of course. Two Challenge 2 World Drive Championship last couple of seasons.
Yep, still one-off appearance for Jared this year, and he's going not bad. Just behind Cal Celeste. They were 3.8 seconds apart, actually, in the battle for the B class.
So Braden Sim should be next.
The BMW.
Yep.
His brother Caleb alongside. So we've already seen Dad Andrew.
It's a bit of a wait, isn't it? 10 to 4. The Ruapuna stage gets underway. So there'll be some nerves around that Stokes Motorsport camp, I'm sure.
A shout out to Julian Longley watching along in Vanuatu. Look forward to seeing you back later in the season as we see Braden Sim now. Nicely done. I think he's had a couple of rides down Mount Grey Road with Dean Buist as well, so he'd know roughly where he's going.
Should be Josh Silcock next in the Toyota Starlet.
And he's been so impressive all season in that A-Class. You know, the baby cars, the 1300s, on some big, fast, wide-open roads. And crikey, she's a bit of a scroll up the screen, to be fair, from second place in Class A, which is Jack Elliott. It's the thick end of 5 minutes, that lead. In fact, Josh Silcock, just 9.8 seconds off the back of Jared Parker.
So here is Josh.
His brother Harry had a bit of a rougher day at the office. You look at Josh Silcock ahead of Doug Adnett in the H6, Nick McCallum in the Escort, Steve Cox in the Audi Quattro, Ken McDonald in the BDA Escort. Yes, some machinery that he really has no business being in amongst. So it's certainly a name to watch in the future. And
a second generation driver too.
Yeah, we've seen one Silcock family member get their name on a bit of NZRC silverware. I suspect that he won't be the only one in the years to come.
So this should be the Ford Escort of Nick and Anna McCallum.
Yeah, wrestling it pretty hard, isn't he? Fantastic drone shots. Loving the work of the whole Volt TV crew, to be fair. Hope you're enjoying the coverage at home as much as we are enjoying bringing it to you.
Yeah, big thanks to our partners for this, Brian Green Property Group, MRF Tyres, Omega Rental Cars and Cream Insurance. Great to have you guys all on board again, making the live stream possible all season long as we get ready to see Shane Padgett in the Toyota Starlet. Great job too, keeping us updated with the running order now, which is a little hard to figure out without their assistance. So
yes, it
Chris
makes us sound a lot more
knowledgeable than we actually are.
Yep. Shane's another one that's had a solid run. So he is second in Class B behind Richie Chadwick, just off the back of Ray Wilson. So that's a good effort. little 1600 starlet.
So I think we should have another of the escorts next. Ken McDonald, Dan Johnson.
So about another half an hour. If you are in the Christchurch region, do get down to Ruapuna Speedway. $5 a person, $20 a car. All proceeds going to the Cancer Society. Fantastic initiative by the Autosport Club to make that happen. As we see Ken McDonald and that beautiful BDA escort. You like the BDA escort, but
I heard you say that once or twice.
I try to keep it pretty under wraps, but not
do hear it quite often at night. And sharing accommodation, and everyone says, right, lights out, good night. And next thing you see the light of the laptop pop up from over BB's way, and then you can hear the old BDA.
Oh, it's just music to the ears, mate.
Well, it's better than listening to you snore, I'll tell you that much.
I'm pretty sure that's you just keeping yourself awake, mate.
We've chased away a few helpers over the years, haven't we?
And that's without making them share a room with us.
So it should be the Irish contingent. Matt and Catherine Shiners, the Toyota Corolla, they are.
It's having rallied across 6 continents. In fact, they got engaged just after the Rally Barbados, and then tied their wedding in with the Arctic Rally in Finland. So I think it's fair to say that
rallying one extreme to the other, isn't it?
Yeah, fairly. Rallying plays a fairly significant role in their life. It's great to have them out here. Not the first time we've seen Matt out here. He did do Rally New Zealand, I believe, back in 2006. Spent a bit of time working for Rally Drive New Zealand back in the day, up in the Maramura Forest, probably the, I guess, iconic equivalent North Island forest.
So it should be another local. This will be the all-female crew, Daffo Rourke and Terry Taylor in the Fiesta R2. South Canterbury, it was the other way around. It was Terry driving and Daff in the silly seat.
And as we pointed out earlier, or one of us pointed out earlier with our astute observation, no need to swap sides on the car because Daff's car is left-hand drive. So Daff is 14.6 seconds behind Ken McDonald, so, and holding off Flipper Fraser in the Subaru Impreza.
Just waiting for Daff, no sign of her just yet, so hopefully all is okay there.
Yeah, haven't got him. No, there's Daff. Into the drone shot. Working her way down Mount Grey Road. I wonder if her partner Matt Summerfield's given her a couple of...
Knows a thing or two about winning this event, doesn't he?
He does. He's, I think probably not many people have such a photographic memory of Mount Grey Road as Matt Summerfield. Daff's certainly looking like she's pressing on reasonably hard in the little R2 Fiesta. So there was a brief hazard at 1.6 kilometres, so potentially a spin or something like that.
More moment for her, and they can see the noticeable gap there. Back to Alan Garrick.
Yep.
Toyota Truno. It's very much.
And Ellen 6th in the B class for the day to date, coming into the stage. Behind Daff actually, so but, he's got a couple of minutes to catch up there, so I don't see a change of position there despite Daff's little moment.
So if Robbie's to go on and win this afternoon and get a breakthrough maiden NZRC rally win, he would be the first breakthrough winner since Jack Hawkswood last year.
Yes.
And prior to that, who was next? So Rana Horan?
Back in 2019.
Yeah.
Yep.
You have to go back that far. Yes, we see Flipper Fraser, Dale Kirby in the Impreza.
Yeah, Shane Van Gisbergen went close but didn't quite make it happen. So it's a pretty exclusive club, the old NZRC Winners Club.
Josh Marson, previous one before that in 2018, I think.
Yeah, that would be right.
Pretty small club of rally winners when you think about it over the last half dozen years or so.
Yeah, when you look at Hayden Patton
and Hunt,
they've really locked away a lot of those rally wins. I will say I was fortunate enough to sip a beverage or two from the New Zealand Rally Championship trophy at the Motorsport Awards last weekend. Quite tasty actually, with a little bit of Brasso mixed in with the champagne.
I got told a very different account of that story, but anyway. Rory Lawn will be next, and I believe there's an extra gap here. I think a 2-minute gap to Rory. It's dropped down the order for some reason. So Rory and Matt Sayers in the Toyota Starlet.
You probably heard that story from Ben Hunt, who also said that the Antarctic Centre storm room was cold.
He got down to his underwear. It was better than what you got down to.
Mate, I was taking my socks off before I was getting into my undies.
It'll make for some good viewing in a few weeks' time. Post-production show. The boys joining us at the International Antarctic Centre here in Christchurch. As you see Rory go past us.
So how do you reckon the Hagland would go down there?
Depends who's driving it. I think I'd trust Robbie in a rally car more than a Hagland. He didn't seem to enjoy the Hagland quite so much. He was sliding all over the place and got white knuckles.
He said a couple of words that made me blush, I must say.
Yeah, he did. You have to bleep out some language, I think. It'll be a good watch, I promise.
Yes, it was a lot of fun.
A lot better watch than watching us idiots have a crack at the simulator in Timaru.
No, that was.
I don't think I've ever been so embarrassed in my life. It was so bad.
That's hard to believe.
I didn't expect to beat you, but
You expected to get to the first corner before you crashed?
I thought I'd make the first corner. I didn't even get it out of the start control. It's the most foreign thing, because you hear people talk about how similar it is, simulators these days. It just felt incredibly foreign to me.
So we see Phil McManus now, the BMW E36 3 Series.
Glenn Warner sitting alongside. I just had no reference of how fast you're going as you approach a corner.
Skill is the word you're looking for, Dale. No skill.
Look, so I tried explaining before. I think if you're driving a car on a road, you might be, if you're not very good, you're going to be slower than you. You're not going to just slide off at every corner, because you can feel what the car wants to do. On the simulator, I just had no idea. Absolutely hopeless.
Your words.
Yeah. Well, I remember you go back to the COVID era when we weren't able to venture outside our houses, and Supercars brought in that simulator online kind of concept, and the great Jamie Whincup was out the back door every round. He was hopeless on the thing.
Yeah, but Jamie Whincup's actually got some credits. He's got some runs on the board.
I'm not trying to compare myself to Jamie Whincup as such, but anyway, enough of this. You can see it all on CRC Motorsport next weekend.
Next Sunday. Yeah. So this will be
Cole Thompson, I think. No, maybe not. Mike Jackson, maybe right.
Yep, that's them. Simon Bell, spot on. You had a new car for each corner.
Simon, go make yourself another mojito and just check the bait hasn't fallen off your line. Talk about commitment. Long weekend, I can't make it down. You missed a great weekend, Simon.
It has been fantastic.
It's been a glorious return to the championship for Lone Star Rally Canterbury in association with Joe's Garage. We might have frequented a couple of those establishments over the last couple of days. Great fanfare and success.
It's fair to say that you've single-handedly supported the local economy.
I certainly have, and I intend to do so again tonight.
Although you could pay for your own toast.
I'll see us turning up. We drop the fries.
True story, ladies and gentlemen.
I knew you were going to go there with this.
So we're sitting at Joe's Garage. We're waiting to film a little piece. Dave Hedge was a little bit late, which really messed with Carl Finn's OCD. Anyway, they said there's no ciabatta. Dale laid a formal complaint as we see Mike Matheson.
Jack Elliott.
Oh, I've done this twice today, haven't I?
You have?
That's embarrassing.
Is this story going to take long?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Next thing you know, a Service Foods truck turns up just so Dale Budge could have his ciabatta.
No, Simon, I haven't.
He's only had 3-4 visits to KFC this week.
I have not. Don't talk rubbish. Big Clink's there now. I'm going to go past Rangiora KFC and I'm going to be able to chicken. Oh, dear.
Don't forget the Wicked Wings, Clinky.
Right, now I think the next car should be Murray Christopherson in the Ford Fiesta, as we are getting down to the last handful of cars.
And while we wait for Murray, in all seriousness, we really must thank the likes of Brian Green Property Group, MRF Tyres, Omega Rental Cars, Cream Insurance. They allow us to bring you this fantastic footage that the Volt TV team compiles, and we aim to ruin by putting voice on top of. Elevate Digital Assist does the best they can to tidy up in the background, so a lot of people to thank to bring this all together. Of course, the whole Autosport Club and the organising team to put this event on, as we see Murray working his way down the infamous Mount Grey Road.
Yeah, I think a really successful return to the championship for Rally Canterbury. Seen some cool roads, and what a story that'll be if a local driver can get a maiden win.
So just 20 minutes away from that final special stage getting underway.
So this should be Mike Matheson, I think, next. There he is.
Headlights ablaze.
Sitting alongside him in the little Toyota Vitz.
He'll be using every single one of those 1300cc's as he powers the little Vitz down the hill. Little close ratio gear kit in that car to make it work hard. So he fires his way down the hill, and so we're hearing the last couple of cars are into this stage, special stage number 8.
So Pat Norris will be next, second to last of our championship competitors. Kevin Cook in the Toyota Corolla. So on for another 4th place finish at this stage in the historic class, yeah?
Yes, holding 4th going into that stage, and with a reasonable gap over Mike Cameron, so that sort of probably opened up a bit more this event. Excuse me.
Yeah, good little battle, those two, through the first couple of rounds. So Pat certainly getting the advantage of it today.
Just the one retirement in that class today. Andy Martin is rotten. So, it's getting towards the end of the day when we're sort of running out of bad jokes to.
I'm just trying to work out some logistics as we think about getting back to the finish. So this should be Joe Ritchie, Hugh Craig and the Toyota Starlet.
The old Class A boys have certainly had some competition thrown amongst them this year with Josh Silcock. Jay, long-time supporter of the 1300 class in the mainland series, and particularly in and around the Christchurch area.
It's been a really well-supported rally from the local contingent, I think,
Yeah, 68 starters, a fantastic field. And they've hats off to the organising group.
So Rex Ford should be next. Rex in the Datsun 180.
The 180B.
There he is. leave a couple of cars to finish, including the Camerons.
Cameron's in a bit of a battle in the outright rally, 6.1 seconds off Kevin Brocky. So the last two cars we see, they've got plenty to play for. Rex we normally see sort of once a year, maybe twice a year. But great to see the 180B out, something a bit different.
All right, should be Mike and Helen Cameron in the little Evo Mitsubishi Lancer. You mentioned in the live stream this morning, farewell tour for both the car and for Helen, so we're told.
Mike's not quite convinced.
No. No. Don't say anything more about age. You've already offended enough people today.
I didn't even...
I could see your brain. I could see where it was going. I just thought I'd stop you before you put your foot in your mouth.
Mate, if I can get my foot up to my mouth...
if I wasn't already interested in KFC, you just put me off it now.
As we see Mike and Helen Cameron working their way down Mount Grey Road.
For the last time for little Lancer?
Well, potentially.
Allegedly.
This is potentially the last few gravel kilometres that little Evo will see in the South Island.
Yeah, true.
Historic moment. I'll wait for a couple of lollies to fly out the window there.
Yep, known as the lolly lady is Helen Cameron.
And two lovelier people you will never meet, to be fair.
Soul of the earth.
Always smiling, always positive.
Sport first, always.
Yeah.
6.2 seconds up on Brocky at the 5k split too.
So
Mike and Alan, thanks Chris Sport.
That would overcome, that puts them a tenth of a second ahead.
That's a battle right to the end. It's going to be resolved at Ruapuna. So we wait the last car in the field to come past us at our vantage point. It'll be Kevin Brocky, Daryl McManus and the Toyota Vitz. Good opportunity again to thank our principal partners, Brian Green Property Group, MRF Control Tyre of our championship, Cream Insurance and Omega Rental Cars. Thanks very much for your support as we see Kevin making his way down the hill. We will be hightailing it back to Manchester Street, to the Lone Star, where the finish will take place. If you are in the region, you'll be about to see one of your local lads enjoy a very special moment. Robbie Stokes will take a significant lead into the final stage at Ruapuna Raceway.
In just 15 minutes time that stage happens. So.
Yep, it'll all play out there, and then he's got a tour back to the inner city, Christchurch, to get to the finish, and that will be a very, very special moment, I'm sure.
Also a shout out to Deb Brock.
She watching, is she? Deb?
She is. So
sent the supplies down for Crystal and the kids.
Yep. But at this stage we're going to sign off. So thank you very, very much for tuning in twice today. Hope you've enjoyed it. We will have a little mid-season break now, but we will be back with the Dale ITM Gold Rush Rally Coromandel on August 23rd. Make sure you tune in then. We'll have a couple more live streams for you there. In the meantime, keep up on the New Zealand Rally Championship Facebook page. Lots of good content and planning for that mid-season break. But for now, thank you and goodbye.